Hi, my name is Brittany Callaghy, and this is my first video journal entry for the class EDUU 575. Today I will be discussing the characteristics of ASD that I've seen throughout my observations, and I will talk about the information I've learned so far that will help me better identify the different characteristics in individuals with ASD. The characteristics that I have observed so far would be routine-oriented, lack of eye contact, difficulty maintaining focus, tends to be out of touch with reality, lack of relationship skills with peers, and sensitivity to senses. When there are minor changes in the classroom routine, such as school assemblies or fire drills, the student will display emotional behaviors such as crying, as well as physical behaviors such as hitting himself or others. In order to help this student, we try to prepare by front-loading him with information about what's going to happen. The student tends to avoid eye contact. He only really looks in your direction when instructed by his mother or when asked multiple times. The student is easily distracted by objects and people inside or outside of the classroom, and he has a short attention span. In order to keep his focus, I prepare interactive activities throughout my lessons. I use task charts, star charts, and verbal and visual cues to support him. He likes to play alone. He has a strong interest in magnets and doesn't really like to share. He rarely participates in group activities. When having a conversation with a peer or adult, he likes to talk about topics that interest him only, and the topics consist of magnets or anything about science. When the topic is changed, he brings it right back to what he wants to talk about. Lastly, he does display sensitivity to senses. He does not like to be touched. If you touch him slightly or an accident, he will either wipe it away or he'll blow where you touch. So if you touched his hands, he'll blow on his hands. He vocalizes that he does not like to be touched and moves away from others when they become too close. He has a sensitivity to smell as well. He becomes agitated whenever there's a strong odor in the classroom, outside of the classroom. Hearing is another sense that he is sensitive to. Sometimes I like to play classical music for my students in the background or Disney music during our rotations. It's very quiet usually, but this seems to agitate him and it disrupts his focus, so I tend not to do that. Throughout watching the video presentation, I picked up many factors that could greatly benefit me when working with individuals with ASD. First and foremost, the information given about senses was truly eye-opening. I never thought about senses so deeply. Like most people, when I thought of vision, I just thought of, am I able to see? But in reality, vision consists of ability to fixate on an object, range of motion for of the eyeballs, tracking objects as they move around the room, and contrast sensitivity, which is when individuals look at the paper and the letters are all moving around, which makes reading really, really challenging. All things considered, I have also learned to be more aware of the difficulties simultaneously processing of any two senses can be. I have found myself saying to my kids, like, look at me, or look at me, look at my eyes when I'm talking to them. After watching that video presentation, you won't really find me saying that anymore because I now understand how difficult it can be to process two senses at one time. Another point that interests me was hearing her talk about the information on hypersensitivity and hyposensitivity. Individuals with hypersensitivity are always on high alert and things are coming in too loud. In the future, if I notice my student displaying aspects relating to hypersensitivity, I'm going to give them the opportunity to control their own environment. For this specific student, I know he really enjoys playing with magnets, so I may provide him the opportunity to play with magnets in order for him to feel safe and in control of his environment. On the other hand, hyposensitivity is when everything is coming in too quiet and the person may appear lethargic or sluggish at times. Pepping up my voice is something that can benefit this type of student. From my experience, I have noticed some of my students drifting off into space, looking around the room, or becoming unfocused. Pepping up my voice or slightly changing the tones of my voice can help them be more engaged. Lastly, hearing about the sensory-friendly films, is super beneficial because I've worked with many families who tell me that they cannot go to the movies anymore because their child won't sit for that long, or the child just doesn't like the environment of the dark room and lots of people around. The sensory-friendly films allow individuals to get up, walk around, dance if needed. They keep the lights on and they turn the sound down. So it's really beneficial for individuals with ASD, and I will definitely recommend sensory-friendly films to all future parents that I have and anybody that doesn't know about them right now. Thank you.